Hello and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for Aquarius. I'm Julia Mikas.
And I'm Jamie Kale Miller. Well, hey, Aquarius, I want to tell you some stuff about career and relationships this month because your sixth house and your seventh house are very full. There's this migration of planets from your sixth house into your seventh house over the course of the month. And the reason why it matters is that the sixth house is the house of the job. Now, this is distinct from the house of career. That's the 10th house, and career has to do with like the arc of your career over time. Jobs are like beads on that string, right? But the house of the job is really important because it has to do with the environment that you work in and how effective you are in it. So at the very beginning of the month, Mercury starts the month in your sixth house, and you might really want to take advantage of that on July 1st and 2nd before Mercury leaves, because Mercury loves to be in this house and will continue giving you some of the help around logistics that you were experiencing last month. Very quickly, Mercury then moves on into the seventh house, and I'll speak to that in a minute. So Venus is also in the sixth house at the beginning of the month until July 10th. Venus doesn't like being in the sixth house as much as Mercury does, but Venus does bring a lot of charm and pleasing ways of relating to the sixth house. So it can make the work environment a lot nicer, a lot friendlier. And if there's anything that you need to, clean up socially with a coworker or anything you want to try to persuade somebody to do or do differently, that first 10 days of July is the best time to do it while Venus is still there in your sixth house. The sun is also in your sixth house until July 21st. The sun symbolizes our attention. It's the light of our solar system, and it brings life force energy wherever it goes. And it does that symbolically in our charts as well. So the sun being in the sixth house means that you can really shine in the area of your job. You can stand out, you can take leadership, you can be followed. And that can feel pretty nice. But also, when you choose to shine the light of your high quality attention on your coworkers, that can sort of speed your path as well. And then I want to say towards the end of the month, July 21st, just before the sun moves on into the seventh house, we have a full moon in Capricorn. And that means that the moon is opposite the sun over in your 12th house, while the sun it remains in Cancer in your sixth house. And this is going to be a day on which you really might find yourself pulled in two directions. One is that you want to keep showing up at the job looking shiny, but the other is that you'll find yourself pulled inward towards, retreat and rest and rejuvenation and introversion. And so finding some work home balance, work life balance on that day is going to be particularly important. So as I said, the planets will migrate over into your seventh house during the course of the month, and that is the domain of relationships. Mercury moves in there very early, as I said, on July 2nd. And when Mercury comes into the house of relationships, you find that there's so much more communication. And if there's a conversation that you really need to have with a partner of yours, whether that's a personal or a professional partner, this is going to be a really good part of the month to do it in, pretty much for the rest of the month as Mercury continues along your seventh house, bringing communication and sparkling wit and stimulating ideas. So really good time for brainstorming sessions as well. Venus moves into your seventh house on July 11th. And that's so sweet, especially if you're in a dating mode. This is absolutely a time when you got to get out there and be social and put yourself in environments where you could meet somebody special. This is the only time all year that Venus is going to be in your seventh house. It's going to spend about a month there. And it's just a really prime time for shoring up relationships that you're already in or starting new ones. And then finally, we have the sun entering your seventh house, July 22nd, and remaining there deep into next month. And that brings, the light of consciousness and attention. And while it can be a time when you might find yourself a little bit self-absorbed in your relationships, it's so much better to pay attention to your partner and to really give them the attention that they deserve and just really be with them and bring all of that wonderful light that you have to bring into your relationship. Hey, Julia, what's up with the realm of money for the Aquarians out there?
Well, hi, Aquarius. So Saturn has been in your second house since March of 2023. This is the house of money and possessions, your earned income. And on June 29th, it went retrograde here. A few days later, July 2nd, Neptune's going retrograde in here. So this is a time where you might feel a little more tested, a little more stuck, maybe more disillusioned, disappointed by money in your life. This is also the house of possessions, so maybe it's your stuff that's getting you a little bit down or putting on more responsibilities, like car payments that are starting to get a little too onerous, for example. So you're really being tested in the money sphere right now. And, with Saturn, it's all about trying to put more discipline in place. This is a great time for practicing some good financial planning, and trying to be as realistic as possible about money, which isn't the easiest when Neptune's in there, but that's the overall higher purpose of Neptune in there. On July 5th, we're also getting a new moon in your sixth house, which is opposite the money asteroid Ceres, who's in your 12th. Now, this is a financial crisis day because we have this opposition, and new moons do bring new beginnings. So I think that this is going to be a time where you're going to get a lot of clarity about what's needed to get better financially organized. And if you're doing anything to shoot yourself in the foot financially with Ceres in that 12th house.
Find our site at pandoraastrology.com to get a reading with one of us, and find us on Patreon for workshops and classes. And we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.